Tom Baker, definitely our favourite Doctor Who, says that playing the part was pretty straightforward because all he had to do was speak complete rubbish, and as all his life he'd been taught nothing but nonsense, priests and teachers. It was peasy, even when being throttled by nonsense.
Cybermen function more efficiently than animal organisms. That is why we will rule the galaxy.
Loose muscles, King. The trouble with Cybermen is that they've got hydraulic loose muscles. Accidentally dropped. Now I want some loose muscles from you, Cyber Leader.
And I'm sure you got it. Hello.
Yes, I did.
Hello.
I know. Yeah. How old were you when it fell your way?
I suppose I was still in my 30s. I suppose I was about 37.
You have the grace to say that actually it was your favourite part. It was just such fun.
Well, it was because, you know, I always wanted to be amazingly dull and ordinary.
Which is one thing Doctor
Initially, when I was young, I wanted to commit a genocide. It was, but I saw through that. Well, I wanted to be an orphan, but when that didn't happen, I wanted to, because the Germans didn't bomb my mother.
A shame.
That's a shame.
Well, I didn't feel very grieved about it. Then I wanted to be a martyr, and then I took up this long, passionate bomb my mother. And for a while, I thought we were going to bomb my mother. But that's because I love, you know, cheap, lurid melodrama. The firstborn man, as you know, was a murderer. Killed his brother. Committed genocide. He said to Noah, get in the arm. Noah said, just get in the arm, get the tram, the rest of the buggers. And he did.
You'll come back to me in the end, though, won't you, Tom? Yeah?
On the shoulder one day.
Just say hello.
Yeah.
You wanted to be an orphan.
Orphans got baseball caps.
That's right, in Superman comics and stuff.
Yes, yeah. And so lots of us wanted to be orphans. And we used to go to church and our mothers would be bombed on the way back from the pub, yeah.
Horrible.
I thought it was rather nice, although I was devoted to it. But I did want to be an orphan.
Yes. This is just a live, talky sort of flavour of the flavour of your book.
He was very poor, you know. Lots of the poor would stay together because they were too poor to part, really.
Yes.
And so then came their methods of torturing each other. And I say, he wants to know what you've got. And she'd say, liver and onions. And he'd say, tell her I hate it. So it wasn't bad. And also, you know, when you're an actor, I just want to outlive that old goat in the next room.
Jeez.
Wasted,
God.
Yeah.
It's one of the saddest stories I've ever heard.
Is your name, I said, is your name Morgan by any chance? You said to my wife, you watch it, some nutty Doctor Who fan who insists on it. And no one ever pays a bill, do they? They always want to put their tongues down my throat, especially if they're anthropologists.
God.
Yeah.
It's one of the saddest stories I've ever heard.
Get their dinner back, obviously.
So you sometimes do it with torches. Anyway, so the man said, you're just this very good-looking big man. And I said, I said to him, who on earth is Tom Baker? Because, you know, sometimes I haven't always known. My name's Baker, Piers Baker. I'm Morgan by any chance, you know, I'm Morgan by any chance, you know, I'm And so, you know, when you're an actor, often people bad. And also, you know, when you're an actor, often people commit a genocide. About 16 years, maybe.
And says, well, because two of them didn't work out, and the present one does very much, I'd rather just have had this one going back to the beginning.
They were okay, and then they weren't okay, and so one pushes on.
Yeah. Well, it's a great book. Thank you very much for coming in and talking about it. Good luck with the tour in the...
It was. He's committed genocide. 50 towns and cities. Bombed my mother. People's houses.
Yep.
You know, at hospitals, outpatients, schools, anywhere.
Good
Quite
stuff.
shamelessly.
Yeah. Have you still got a faith? Would you still describe yourself as a Christian?
Well, no, I couldn't describe myself as a Christian, but
No, it's good.
There are 1,000 stories in the book. We've just taken 3 there, talking about it, to give it a flavour. What we haven't covered is your 3 marriages. I just wanted to ask you one question about them. Are you the sort of...
Loose muscles.
hey, that journalist would say that.
Yeah.
You know, we had at least a couple of other clips to play
well,
Doctor Who, and you were so interesting that we forgot about them. So it's really...
Hey, that journalist would say that.
Yeah.
You know, well, it doesn't matter.
Very nice to talk to you.
I do.
Thank you very
I
much,
do, I
Tom.
do.
We've got to take another break now. We'll be back in just a minute with Monty's...